Want me to take it or Rick? This soda's.
Hi, Otis. Say it again.
Do you want me to take it?
Oh, please do, Otis. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we do have a quorum as of right now. We've got myself, Buzz, Doug, Bobby, Wendy, and yourself.
Okay. Well, if you'll chair the meeting since they can see you, that would be great.
Okay. Let's get started. We do have a quorum. Are there any? Well, actually, we need to hold the approval to hold the electronic meeting. Do I have a motion for that?
I'd like to make a motion to hold an electronic meeting. Do we need to read out verbatim the COVID-19 declaration?
If you can, Buzz, that would be much appreciated.
Okay. All right. The Headwaters District Board certifies that the nature of the declared COVID-19 emergency makes it impracticable or unsafe for the board to assemble in a single location, and further that the agenda items to be taken up at this meeting are necessary to continue operations and discharge lawful purposes, duties, and responsibilities of the board.
Second.
We have a second.
Second.
Okay. Motion made and duly seconded. All those. Well, no. Wait a minute. I got to go down the list. Sorry about that. Buzz.
Yes.
Doug.
Yes.
Bobby.
Yes.
Wendy.
Yes.
And Rick.
Yes.
Motion passed. Moving on, do we have any additions to the agenda? Hearing none, let's move on to approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from the last month's meeting?
Rick, so moved.
I'll second.
Motion.
I'll second.
Motion to approve the minutes properly seconded. Let's go down the list. All those in favor, just say yes or aye. Rick?
Yes.
Wendy?
Yes.
Bobby?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
Buzz?
Yes.
Motion approved. Treasurer's report. Wendy?
Nothing out of the ordinary as far as the treasurer's report. We're in good stead as far as finances, et cetera. So I'd go ahead and make a motion that we approve for audit the treasurer's report for the month ending April 30th, 2021.
Second.
All right, motion made to approve the treasurer's report. Just one comment under ordinary income, Miss Dam Rehab Escrow account interest. We earned all of 77 cents last month.
Yes, we're big time here. We're raking in the money.
That's on about $90,000 worth. That's pathetic. Okay, all those in favor, Buzz?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
Bobby?
Yes.
Wendy?
Yes.
Rick? Motion passed. Budget versus actual.
Oh, that's, yeah, so that's pretty much self-explanatory. Again, we're sitting good for up to date and actually looking at through the end of the year. So nothing much to say there.
We don't have to have a motion on that, do we?
No.
No, sir.
I didn't think so. Okay, agency partner reports. Mark?
Yes, sir. Good morning, everyone. You got it.
Hi, Mark.
Hi, Rick. Hey, I sure hope you've read my wonderful 2-page CDC report for the month of May.
Oh, buddy.
It's in the packet. I'll hit a few highlights. There's a whole lot of stuff in there, and we won't certainly read through it, but I do hope you ask questions if you have any in regards to any of those points in that written report. And thank you, Rachel, for flashing it up there. Disbursement letters were indeed sent May 7th, and at some point you should be getting that money into your checking account electronically. July 15 will be the due date for fourth quarter reports and end of year cash balance and carryover reports. And I have sent staff instructions for end of year reporting. It can be a little bit complicated. And I'm sure you guys are well underway with your 22 PY or FY22 budgets. You're in receipt of general audit letter that was sent out toward the end of April. Need to review the desktop procedure for district fiscal operations. And I don't know if you guys have already done that or not. Rachel, you know?
Is on the agenda for today.
Oh, it's on today's agenda. Okay, super. Under cost share, there's a whole lot of stuff. The first paragraph about carryover is just a repeat from an earlier written report. A little highlight about notifying David Brian of third time carryover. Your staff has handled that. There are 3, I think they're 2019 contracts that'll be on the carryover list for board approval in June. I thank staff for dealing with that properly. There's been talk at previous board meetings, I'm pretty sure, about the inflation and its effect on your structural BMPs for the year, and it's a huge deal. In your packet is the state board's response to that says essentially that you'll be able to apply some of your upcoming fiscal year 22 allocation to some FY21 or FY2020 contracts that are still under construction and need and get carried over to help adjust for inflation. And that adjustment is by virtue of creating a new program year average cost list that would go into effect July 1. And presumably you will carefully consider those adjustments. And if the board chooses to take advantage of this opportunity provided by the state board, you would apply the new FY22 average cost list to those 2020 and 2021 projects. And they are the stream fencing practices and animal waste practices only. And the SL7, which allows for the extension of a watering system into fields that don't have live water in them. So that's enough said on that, unless you have questions. And again, you've got the state board's motion in your board packet. But it should draw your attention to that in addition to that particular motion that will help you out with the 2020 and 2021 contracts, the state board has approved the inclusion of a provision in PY22 VAX manual that will allow for a mid-season adjustment of your cost list that is, if inflation continues to rage throughout the upcoming program year that starts in July, we may find that average cost lists established in July are way out of whack again. So there's an appeal process to deal with a midstream or mid-season adjustment to your cost list. Second page, just a note about some General Assembly action, raising the cap on Ag BMP tax credits. So therefore, because of the complexities of managing that and needing to deal with the State Department of Taxation to get on the same page with them, DCR did send out a request a month ago or so that the districts consider no further tax credits until after July 1. We'll deal with that in upcoming VAX training. There are a couple of webinars scheduled for June we'll get a handle on that eventually. There'll be some changes to the equipment tax credits as well. We'll deal with that again in the June VAX update training sessions. There's a note about the percent of the FY21 allocation that's utilized, obligated by the district. And to get an A, you have to be at 90% or above. And right now the district is already at that point. So kudos to your staff in that regard. Conservation selling skills, that's something that's required for DCR conservation planning certification. Just one correction to make there. The July 13th session is from 1 to 3 in the afternoon. It is not a morning session. But if any of your staff have not yet participated in conservation selling skills, here's a great way to get it done from the comfort of their home or from your office. Got a string of dates there. Dam Owners Work Group has a virtual meeting tomorrow, this Friday. There you'll also see the 2 dates for VAX webinar updates, or VAX updates webinar, I should say. And again, as I've said before, because we're in this virtual world, it's a great opportunity for directors and partners to also participate in such webinars. And I think I'll leave it at that with some additional notes that I've dotted off to the side, just to make sure all directors are aware, and I think your staff is certainly well aware.
Hey, Mark.
Yes.
This is Wendy. So I think we're going to request that most of the staff actually try to do the June 2nd VAX webinar. I
Cool.
think one person may not be able to do that, and they'll end up doing it on the 8th, because on the 8th we're going to end up shuffling all the staff through personnel committee as far as evaluations for the end of the year. So
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, and I don't think the registration details or the flyer, if you will, has come out on those yet. This is very much of a heads up. But
yeah, which is
thanks.
good, which is good for planning.
Yep.
Thanks.
Cost share budget for the upcoming year will be a topic of discussion at this Thursday's state board meeting. And the links for that are in the written report, also on the association website and the town hall website. Feel free to participate to whatever extent you wish. The draft policies that govern our 2 grant agreements have been widely distributed, and I'm certainly not anticipating any changes to the dollar amounts contained therein. And for the upcoming program year that starts July 1, Headwaters is slated to have 2.5 million in cost share and 383,000 plus in technical assistance, which is 15% of the allocation. Last year, the TA for Headwaters was 13% of its allocation. Overall, the state's budget for cost share has gone from 35 million to 74 million. So we have more than doubled. We, the taxpayers, have more than doubled the cost share budgets for districts for the coming year. Technical assistance in FY21 totaled 5.8 million. That's for the 47 districts. And TA for the upcoming year is 9.7 million. So it's going to be a very big year coming up. Oh, and one final note, BCAP. I think the association sent out a notice about some Virginia Conservation Assistance Program training that's coming up on the 9th of June, and then another session on the 20th of July. I think that notice has gone around, but that's just a heads up. Both of those will be virtual affairs. And that's all I have jotted down to bring to your attention outside of the written report. And I am finished. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Hey, just one comment, under the dates section on your,
Yeah.
written report. The dam owners work group, the link has been provided, so if
Okay.
anybody needs it, I've got
You're
it.
right. You're right. Yep. Yep. I plan to participate and I'll see you there.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Any questions of Mark? So moving right along, NRCS, Bobby.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, everybody. Glad to be here. Just a couple of things. First of all, there's a new memorandum of understanding coming out between NRCS and the districts. The state association has worked on that and has come out with a draft. So, or will be coming out with a draft very soon. So as soon as we have that, we'll I'll get that to this board for review, and then we can approve or disapprove. Also, there's a new NRCS program called Conservation Incentive Contracts, or CIC. It's basically a bridge between the EQIP program and the CSP program that we currently have. And basically the difference is EQIP is to install conservation practices, whether that be a fence or a watering system or a manure storage, whereas CSP is for those that have already installed conservation practices, being able to enhance those conservation practices. Well, this new program does a little bit of both. It's sort of that bridge between the two. And so that has been rolled out. The deadline for application is June 18th. So we'll be working on that, taking applications for that. We do have new EQIP applications have been pre-approved, so we'll be working on turning those into contracts and getting all the paperwork for that. And also, we have recognized the inflation issue as well. They don't have a specific policy in place yet to handle that, but they are being more lenient with deadlines, with cancellations, and that kind of thing. And so that's kind of where we're at with the increased costs of materials going on there. I believe that's it for NRCS. Any questions for me?
Hey, Bobby, this is Mark. The new program, CIC, is Conservation Incentive Contract or what?
Yes.
Contract, okay. Okay.
Let me make sure I get the right. Yeah, Conservation Incentive Contracts with an
Okay,
S.
okay, all right, cool. We'll just add that to our list of abbreviations.
Yes, yes.
Golly, Miss Molly.
So,
Well, sign me up, brother.
okay, come in the office.
All right. By appointment only still?
Yes, still by appointment only as of for right now.
Okay. Thank you.
That's it, Mr. Chairman.
Notice you're on mute.
I'm sorry, I had my microphone muted. Thank you, Bobby. Virginia Co-op Extension, Doug?
Yeah, I guess two things to note. We are conducting our drinking water clinic in June. We'll have an opportunity to pick up the kits on Monday, June 21st at 7 p.m. We'll have a meeting. If you want a kit ahead of time, you can pick it up at the extension office. The pickup dates for that will be June 23rd in the morning. Then I am also conducting what I'm calling a spray water quality testing program, where I'm collecting water sources used in agricultural spraying situations. Got a grant, and I'm taking samples to see how the water fares in the valley and what recommendations we need to come up with to enhance the activity of pesticides. So if anybody's interested in either of those programs, they can get in touch with me or the extension office. That's all I have to report at this time.
Okay, thank you, Doug. Any questions of Doug? Right, moving right along, Virginia Department of Forestry, Patty, I didn't see her name on there. Does anyone have any comments? Okay, the U.S. Forest Service, Mary, she's not on here either, but Charlie, do you have any comments? Moving right along, I did see Leslie.
Hi, yes, I have a couple items that went before our Planning Commission at their meeting last month. So we are starting to see a lot more interest in what we refer to as small scale utility solar projects. So in our ordinance, that's anything under 50 acres. So 2 requests went before our Planning Commission last week. One of them is for a 5 megawatt project located on a 90-acre farm. It would be approximately 40 acres within the panel boundary. And that's located off Old White Bridge Road and Entry School Road in the Wayne District. Planning Commission did hold a public hearing and determined that that project was in substantial accord with the comprehensive plan. And it will be going to our Board of Zoning Appeals for another public hearing and either approval or denial of the permit. The next one is a little bit of a smaller project. It's a 3 megawatt project, roughly 12 acres of a 50-acre farm. And they are proposing that one it would be on Long Meadow Road across from Teverton entrance, also in the Wayne District. And the Planning Commission determined that that one also was in substantial accord with the comprehensive plan, and it'll have another public hearing before our Board of Zoning Appeals. We do have another request along Vinegar Hill Road, and it will go before our Planning Commission at their meeting in June, the 2nd Tuesday of the month. And then also next week on Monday, our Board of Supervisors will be holding their normal staff briefing, and staff will be discussing with them some potential comprehensive plan amendments for utility scale solar, mainly related to the larger projects, as some of our board members have expressed an interest in potentially putting a size limitation or a size maximum consideration within our comprehensive plan, now that we have reviewed 2 projects of significant size. So we'll be discussing that with them at their staff briefing. That's all I have, unless you have any questions. We certainly are starting to see requests for smaller projects, which is driven by a current RFP process that Dominion has out right now. And it's my understanding that the community or shared solar programs, of which some of these projects are applying under, it would be possible for a Dominion customer to sign up to essentially have some of their power come from that project. I think at the meeting they mentioned a potential 10% reduction on your utility bill, but that you could sign up. And this is also through the Virginia Clean Economy Act, kind of specifying that, individuals that live in apartments or their house they rent, or their house may not be conducive to solar energy, could sign up under this shared solar program. So that's all I have, unless anyone has any questions.
Just, excuse me, just a comment. We met with the Quillens yesterday on the rehab for Waynesburg Nurseries dam. So they're still looking at a pretty large installation there.
Yeah, so I know at that one location, that was part of a much larger project, the Augusta Solar project, that was denied by our board in May of 2019. As far as I know, it's still under appeal, but I don't know, where any of that stands. And certainly there's always the potential to reapply with a different project or the same project, since it's been a year since the decision.
Sure. Well, we're still going ahead with the rehab. We're just trying to work around their requests for, they want to put in as many panels as they can.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Anyway, that's still in the works.
Uh-huh.
I drove by there yesterday, and I see that they had all the the flags laid out for their, I guess, the placement of the panels. I guess they were part of the original plan because they put a high security fence in there, animal preventive fence for deer getting in there. But then, of course, things were slowed down. But I assume they're the ones that'll be going with it. This is on the school road project, so looks like they're moving right along.
Yeah, so the entry school road project, they will need to still go before the the entry school road project, they will still need to go before the Board of Zoning Appeals. The Planning Commission is a recommending body that needs to determine compliance with the comprehensive plan, but the Board of Zoning Appeals will make the actual decision on that. So I assume, we haven't set our agendas yet, but I believe that would go before the Board of Zoning Appeals in July for their review.
Okay. Any
Thank you.
questions of Leslie? Okay, thank you, Leslie.
Sure.
Department of Environmental Quality, there's a report, Sarah's not on here, but there is a short report, written report in the packet. And I didn't see anything earth shaking in there. Department of Wildlife Resources, Samantha, she's not on either, I don't think. No. Department of Health, Jason, he's not on here either, I don't think. Chesapeake Bay Foundation, Austin. Friends of the Middle River. Okay.
Okay, I'm here.
Oh, you are.
I finally got unmuted here. So first thing is a repeat from last meeting, or basically a report on where we are with the Earth Day Stanton. The Earth Day Stanton, I guess we'll call it contest activity, officially ended yesterday, May 17th. And from our part of our participation was to do a litter cleanup along Lewis Creek, several different sections. And so we're tallying results now. So really don't have any final metrics, but I deem it successful because anytime you pick up any piece of trash along a riparian area, to me, that's a win. So the next thing is, I know we just passed by Chesapeake Bay Foundation. So I will say that we received an invitation from them regarding the Chesapeake Bay, well, what used to be Chesapeake Bay Awareness Day or week or whatever it is. And I'm not sure if it's morphed into this or if this is part of it, but we were invited to participate in a Chesapeake Bay cleanup day. And I said we're collaborating with Shenandoah Green on that. And that day, which is actually a week, starts May 31st and goes through June 5th. And at this point, we're concentrating on the city of Stanton, mainly because we're collaborating with Shenandoah Green, and we have 4 different projects that we're targeting. Two actually along Lewis Creek, one along Asylum Creek, and one Gum Spring run through Gypsy Hill Park. Next, I mentioned before that one of our members has put together some Middle River maps, and he's been able to put together a hazard map, which, as far as I know, is the first of its kind for us at least. And it's an interactive map, so anybody that wants to float the Middle River can go on our website and find out where there might be trees down, where there's or any other kind of hazard that may impact their float trip down the river. So if anybody would like to look into that, just go into our website and under education, look at you can find the maps. We unfortunately have lost our lease to the Verona access site, which was located just north of Verona, where the Middle River crosses under Route 11. There on Bald Rock Road, we had a lease with the Ford family, and they have since sold that property, but we do have some other prospects that we hope to be able to replace that with. We have float trips planned for the remainder of the season. The next one that's coming up is scheduled for June 5th. And next topic, the Stanton Legacy Tree Project, which I've talked about several times in this meeting. It is now reached or exceeded actually the quantity of 2,000 trees planted. So we have approximately 600 more to go to reach the goal of 1 tree for every child in the Stanton City school system. And those roughly 600 trees are scheduled to be planted this fall, fall of 2021. And in fact, there are some trees being planted as we speak. We started this morning right across on the, it's in the cemetery right across from the post office on Lambert Street in Stanton. So that's pretty much wraps up everything I had in my report. Any questions, comments?
Okay,
Hey, Dave, this is Buzz. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sounds like you're busy.
Yeah, we tend to be busy from this time of year till late fall.
All right.
It's a good thing.
Yeah. Thank you, Dave.
Welcome.
Hey, Dave, this is Buzz. I just want to let you know I'm getting with the folks at the Y today to ask them. I've got another question to ask about during the meeting that I want to follow up with them as well. But I will be reaching out to them today for volunteers for the 31st.
Okay. Buzz, if you have the time, if you would call me right after this meeting, there's a couple of things I'd like to discuss with you offline.
Yeah, it'll work.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Down to me, dams. Spray contract, they're going to start spraying next month, and this is the last year on that contract. So next year we're going to have to reissue it. We met yesterday with for the 60% design review on the Waynesboro Nurseries rehab. Meeting went, I thought, extremely well, especially with the Quillins and the engineering firm. They got some things settled, and I think everybody was happy. And Michael is preparing the tractor to get ready to mow grass again. And that's all I have unless somebody has some questions. Okay, down to finance legislative. Wendy.
The only thing I have really as far as finance is the committee met yesterday on the 17th for almost 2 hours to begin looking at next year's budget. Rhonda supplied us with a lot of the basic information we needed to start looking, considering. We looked initially sort of at salaries and such as far as compensation. So we kind of came to some general consensus. We gave Rhonda some feedback. She's going to be meeting with Kathy a couple times, and they'll work out more of the details and plugging in some of the numbers and adjusting things based on how we have spent funds. Generally, we've been on target, but a few things may need to be adjusted a little bit. But it was a good meeting, and we will undoubtedly have a couple more before everything's going to be ready to be presented for next month's meeting, but we should have it all done by then. That's really all I have as far as legislative. I don't have anything.
All right, any questions of Wendy on finance? Down to personnel, Wendy.
Okay, well, so we've been working on updating the job descriptions. It's not an easy task because the jobs are different throughout the state as far as how they're defined. We don't want to give too detailed a definition sort of to them or scope, and yet we don't want to be so general that it's not useful. And of course, these job descriptions are what end up being sort of the basis of the evaluations at the end of the year. So we're updating them. These are things that will probably undergo continual updating. I mean, like, a year from now, because we will continue to evolve a little bit. I can see that they will be tweaked again. But so we're working on it. We're doing well. We might have it all done, by the end of this year. If not, it should be shortly after the beginning, and then we would have to kind of vote on them as far as they're part of the personnel policy handbook. So that would come up again if we don't meet, whatever deadlines that are kind of naturally in place. So anyway, we're making progress. And then as far as the end of the year staff evaluations, it's coming upon us quickly. And so I've asked staff to go through and evaluate themselves and have that turned in by the 4th of June, which is a Friday. And then we're looking at the 8th, a Tuesday, to get together and essentially meet with each of them individually, just kind of do a full day's worth one at a time, and go through how they've performed, rank them, and that will be the basis for any sort of merit increase for the employees. I guess that's really it as far as that goes.
Okay, any questions of Wendy on personnel? Thank you, Wendy. Education, Jim.
Yeah, we'll got a fairly lengthy report, and I'll ask Rachel to catch us up on all those things that are happening. Thanks.
Thanks, Jim. As you can see in the agenda, it's been quite busy here the past few months education-wise. The Area 1 virtual competition was held just after our last meeting, the week of April 19th through 25th. We had our results that we can share. In first place for Area 1 was Harrisonburg High School. In second place for Area 1 was Fort Defiance High School. And then in third place was Sharando High School. So we had only 3 teams compete. So all automatically moved on to the state competition, but we were very proud and they were enthusiastic students, and we appreciate them hanging with us during this unique virtual Envirothon year. The state competition, the Dominion Energy Envirothon, was held this past Sunday, the 16th. There was some concerns shared to the association, not just from our team, but other teams throughout the state, as to difficulties meeting on a Sunday event. Specifically, the time was 10 to 3, so there was some hesitancies from students. You know, that is church time, that is usually a weekend time for family. And the times were just recently shared in 2 weeks. So there were some students struggling to make sure they were not either working or they could miss time from church and other events. But they made it happen. I personally was there with the Fort Defiance team as their in-person proctor on Sunday, and those kids are smart. They knocked it out of the park. So I'm anxious to see how they do. We have a team of all seniors, so it'll be interesting to see what next year brings for the Fort team. Results will be revealed on May 26th. So we will have those to share at our June board meeting. Just a recap of our Earth Day event. We had our virtual Kiss the Ground movie Q&A talk on April 29th. A big thank you to Doug Horn with Extension, Alexandra Schmidt with NRCS, and Robert Clemmer with Project Grows as our 3 panelists. We had about 62 registrants and about 40 actually attended the online event, which I thought went very well. There is a recording on our YouTube page if anybody is interested in watching that. The next on the agenda, just some upcoming presentation dates with the underground classroom for your reference. Things are starting to pick back up with that. Our poster contest is due June 4th. And the last thing I will mention, our scholarship committee, Mr. Huppick brought forward a letter of intent. If you remember from our last meeting, conversations with that have made it to the Community Foundation. And I believe, Charlie, feel free to add anything if you would like, but I believe that has all been settled out at the Community Foundation level for that match towards our scholarship award winner. And if there's no other additional comments, if Jim or Charlie had anything to add, that is all I have.
Well, thanks, Rachel. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you, Jim and Rachel. Any questions of either Rachel or Jim? Okay, down to agricultural cost share, Bobby.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We'll start off here with approvals. We won't have many because it's late in this fiscal year, but we've got a few here. So I make the motion that we approve the 5 listed practices as you see on your screen.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded to approve the BMP practices as shown. All in favor, say aye. Buzz.
Yes.
Doug.
Yes.
Bobby.
Yes.
Wendy.
Yes.
Rick.
Yes.
Motion passed.
There is one VCAP practice that's new and listed on your screen. I make the motion that we approve this VCAP practice.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded to approve the VCAP practice. Signify by saying aye. Rick.
Yes.
Wendy.
Aye.
Yes.
Bobby.
Yes.
Doug.
Yes.
Buzz.
Yes.
I'll accept either yes or aye or here.
Thank you.
Next up is a list of appeals for current projects. You can see an explanation to the right. Are there any questions on any of these appeals?
Rachel, is there any way you can enlarge that? Ah, that's better.
That's about as close as you're gonna get it all on one screen.
Yeah, that's okay. Thank you.
Hearing no questions about those, I'll make the motion that we approve the appeals as listed.
Second.
Okay, motion made to approve the appeals practice, or the appeals rather, and properly seconded. Let's go down the list again. Rick,
Yes.
Wendy,
Yes.
Bobby,
Yes.
Doug,
Yes.
Buzz.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Okay, we have a few conservation plans that have been written this month. I make the motion, we approve these conservation plans as listed.
Second.
Okay, motion made to approve the conservation plans and properly seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Buzz,
Yes.
Doug,
Yes.
Bobby,
Yes.
Wendy,
Yes.
Rick.
Yeah.
Motion passed.
A few nutrient management plans have come in this month. Make the motion, we approve these nutrient management plans to keep on file.
Second.
Okay, motion to approve nutrient management plans properly seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye. Rick,
Ah.
Wendy,
Yes.
Bobby,
Yes.
Doug,
Yes.
Buzz.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Okay, thank you. That does it for approvals. Wanted to mention that we have an Ag and Cost Share Committee meeting set for June 3rd at 9 a.m. And were we going to do a Zoom meeting or an in-person meeting, or have we decided?
There is a Zoom meeting set up, but we can always move to in-person depending on now that things start to open up. I know that we have looking for a full board meeting in person in June, but Bobby, that would ultimately be your call as chair.
Okay.
We can still do.
I guess for this one, we'll stick with Zoom since we have that set up, and then we can think about any following meetings in person. So anyway, just to make that known that June 3rd at 9 a.m. Encourage everybody on the cost share committee to attend, and those that may be just interested in hearing some of that behind the scenes, I encourage you to tune in as well. Next up, the State Soil and Water Board has approved the inflation allowance process. My understanding of this, and correct me if I'm wrong, staff, that any existing projects we have out there that will be carried over to FY22 will be eligible to receive the FY22 amount of cost share, or be under the FY22 cost list. Is that correct?
Yes, you're correct, Bobby. It will be for only program year 20 and 21 carryover contracts.
Okay.
If it's going to be applied to one, it's applied to all in that condition. So your staff will need to do some mathematics on each of those carryover projects.
Mark, you're saying that if we approve the increased cost for one contract, we would have to approve it for all of our contracts.
Yeah, all of the ones that are under construction and have the carryover status come July 1.
Okay.
Not going to go back to contracts from 2020 or 2021 that have been paid. Those are done and out of the picture.
Sure.
But just for the ones that are under construction now and in carryover status.
Will this come out of our FY22 allocation?
Correct.
Okay. So I believe our staff would need to kind of figure out a estimated amount, how much that would be.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. All right. Also an update on an out of compliance contract, just a little background for those that don't remember. This participant had a winter feeding facility that we cost shared on a number of years ago. And during a spot check, it was found that the gutter on this facility is broken and not functioning as intended, and therefore out of compliance. The manual states that he has 6 months to correct this issue. When we sent the letter to him, we gave him until sometime in April, and then given a 2-week extension to him, basically saying till the first part of May.
It's a maximum 6 months
Yes.
extension.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't say you must give 6 months. A lot depends on how much of a headache the repair is.
Sure.
Yeah.
And so anyway, that the deadline that we set, which was less than 6 months, has already passed. But the 6 month deadline would be the 1st of July. Well, Aaron and I visited that farm yesterday, and the gutter is not fixed yet. So he has missed that initial deadline that we set as the 1st of May to have it fixed. Now, we spoke to the landowner, and he claims that he has a contractor lined up, but they haven't showed up yet. Well, it's the same excuse he used 2 weeks ago, or 3 or 4 weeks ago, when we extended the deadline to May 1st. And then come to find out that we called that particular contractor, and they don't have a record of him asking for a project or asking to fix this gutter. So I'm sort of unsure what we should do. He's out of compliance. He did not meet the first deadline. However, the 6 month deadline has yet to come. So I guess our options are to pursue, is number one, pursue requesting money back from him, or 2, give him till, extend his deadline to sometime prior to July 1. I think those are our 2 options. I don't know if this board has a preference, and I'd like to hear comments.
Mark, this is Otis. What happens if we demand money back from him and he refuses to pay?
If he refuses to return the prorated cost share amount as has been requested by the district, then the matter simply gets turned over to the Attorney General's office,
Okay.
who may or may not make a collection, but at that point, any returned money goes back to the Commonwealth Treasury and not to the district.
Okay. Rick, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I'm still thinking. I'm not happy at all with the landowner and his actions, his deception. I mean, I don't think he's intending to fix it. I think we're just being told so. I guess my thoughts are what are the ones that adhere, whatever, landowners, farmers, whoever they are, the ones that adhere to the practice rules will think if we don't let this go, or if we let it go unattended, and even if it goes to the maximum 6 months, the results are going to be the same. It'll be turned in and the state will collect. I kind of think we need to drop the hammer.
And drop the hammer is simply what you have said you would do in your last letter to him. And it is just a matter of the Headwaters District washing its hands of the matter, turning it over to the Attorney General's office per the cost share manual guidelines. And then until this participant pays the money back either directly to the district or through the Commonwealth's, to the treasurer via the Attorney General's guidance, if you will, he doesn't get cost share from the district.
Right.
Let me ask this question. If we, send a letter today saying you owe your money back, this is how much, but then in a week he calls us and says, hey, I got that gutter fixed. What do we do at that point?
Well, at that point, you tell the Attorney General, case closed, we got our money back, thank you very much, and move on.
No, I mean, I'm not saying that he gives us the money back. I'm saying he fixes the out of compliance.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, if he fixed it, you would think he'd be eager to inform the district. And when that word comes, the district should send somebody out as soon as possible. And if indeed the gutter's fixed, just let the Attorney General's office know that the case is moot.
I see.
Well,
Mark,
see, if
I-
we wake
I have-
up, go ahead.
Sorry, I just had a question. Do we need to send a certified, if we pursue this route, does the district need to send a certified letter giving him the 60 days stated in the manual to pay the district before
No,
contacting
no.
the Attorney
And
General?
again, Rachel, the manual says the district may give up to 6 months. It doesn't.
I'm saying like that he has the stated 60 days to issue the check from the certified letter is what's stated in the manual when repayment is required.
And the letter from March says if restitution has not been made at the end of this 60-day period, the district will notify the Attorney General's office. So yeah, you've got to give them 60 days from March 19. If that was the date of the letter, that's what I have on my copy. Essentially, I would advocate that the district do what it said it would do in the letter.
I agree.
And if you get a call next week that he's repaired the gutter, go out and check it, and we're happy.
So just to recap, what we're discussing is sending a letter saying that he has 60 days to return X amount of dollars to Headwaters. And then if he fixes the gutter in that 60 days, then it's a moot point. But otherwise, we should have that dollar amount in a check by whatever date that would be, 60 days from today.
No.
No.
Bobby.
Yes.
The letter has already gone out. The letter, as I understand it, correct me if I'm wrong, the letter has already gone out. It was dated March 19. It said, you've got, here's the problem. Here's the dollar amount you owe us if you don't fix the problem. If restitution has not been made at the end of this 60-day period, the district will notify the OAG. So I'm thinking that the notice has already gone out. I mean, he's already got notice of what's going to happen. May 3rd, we'll conduct final inspection the week of May 3rd. So I guess 60 days would be from May 3rd, is what you're saying. You're right.
Well, that was, yeah, I mean, that's how I was understanding it. but I could be wrong as well.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Okay.
June, July, yep. Yeah, I don't know if you need to correspond any further. No harm in doing so, certainly. I mean, does he know that? Well, he was present for the inspection this week or last week.
Yeah, he was present yesterday, yes.
Yeah, was it yesterday? Okay, so
Yeah,
he's
it
well
was
aware. I mean,
yesterday.
yeah, you can send a follow-up letter if you care to. I mean,
I think we should. I mean, I think we need
Yeah.
to say this is, you know, it was determined you're still out of compliance. And whether we want to give him 30 days or 60 days to pay the money back, I think we need to set a date. Hey, you got to have your, you know, the check in here in 30 days or 45 days, whatever it may be. If not, it's going to be turned over to the Attorney General's office.
Yeah.
I think we should send that letter. I think so.
Yeah, well, this March letter did give him the 60 days from your inspection. So your letter would merely reiterate what you laid out back in your March letter. But I think that's probably sound. No harm in it, certainly no harm in it.
And be aware, he did refuse the last certified letter
Yeah,
that stated this March letter was refused by this landowner. So
Not much.
he might not have even seen this.
Not much you can do about that.
Well, I would move we send him a letter with the information that we have discussed with Bobby, pointing out dates, and give him a copy in that letter of what he didn't read when he refused a certified letter as another attempt to let him know. But I think we should be very firm on our dates, and we should not let a collection or notice to the Attorney General of the state before the 6 months runs out. We do not want to be delinquent on that date, which would be around the 1st of July, if I understand correctly. If you can put that in the form of the motion, that's my motion.
And I'll second that.
Okay, does the board really need to vote on that? Because the letter has already been sent, and this is just a follow-up letter.
Yeah, we're following the protocol for the VAX program.
Okay, I'll withdraw my motion, but that's the process I'd like done.
And I agree with that.
We have a cover crop check here for that participant. So my understanding is we do not give him any more district money, correct?
Well, pay him for what you promised to date. Just make no further promises in, upcoming year.
Okay.
I mean, that's my suggestion. If the district directors want to play a little bit more hardball, I mean, that's their choice. I wouldn't interfere with them if they wanted to make that choice. But I think from our DCR perspective, the cover crop checks that were promised by the district some months ago probably ought to go forward with those. This individual still has the opportunity to make the repairs. And probably if the repairs are not made or the money's not paid back in due time, from that point forward, you can follow your secondary considerations, one of which is generally saying that past successful participation is one of the governing rules. That makes sense? I mean, is that all right?
I think so, Mark.
Yeah, go ahead and pay the cover crop.
Rachel, you understand all of this?
I have that we will be sending just a followed certified letter reiterating those dates with the actual deadline date that the money is due to the district before the Attorney General is contacted. So that will be sent. Yes.
Which he'll refuse.
Quite possibly.
I was gonna say, send his check via certified letter and see if it gets refused.
Now, that's a great idea, Doug.
That absolutely is. Send his check with the letter for repayment.
There you go. Better yet. No, I think that would be kind of weird.
All right.
Okay, any further discussion on this? Rachel, you clear?
About as clear as mud, but we got it down.
Okay.
That concludes my report, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Bobby. You're up next anyway, resource management plan.
No report on resource management plans.
Okay, thank you. Urban conservation, DeBose is not on here unless he signed on recently. Don't see him. Forestry and riparian buffer, Charlie. I saw Charlie on here. Yeah. I'm just going to assume no report from him. Same thing on easements. Land use, Mr. Horn's not here. Pure Water Forum, I have no report on that. So we're down to other business. Strategic plan review. I assume everybody has read it, all the directors.
Yes.
I went through it also. So I need a motion to approve it.
Really, all you need, Otis, is a acknowledgement in the minutes that the directors have reviewed the strategic plan at their May whatever board meeting.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. It's a grant deliverable. You get a bean counted. You laugh, Rick. You shouldn't.
Well, I'm trying to decide, is this one of the beans from Jack and the Beanstalk, or is this a soybean?
It's a grant deliverable bean.
I got you. Thank you, Mark.
Okay, let it be noted that the strategic plan review has been was reviewed. The annual plan of work, have the directors reviewed it? I have.
Yeah, it's helpful.
Yeah.
It's a good little catch up.
Yeah.
All right, so let it be noted in the minutes that the annual plan of work has been reviewed. Mark, you happy with that?
I am very happy with that.
Good.
Thank you.
Yeah, we want to keep you happy.
That's right. Your success is my success.
All right, and down to desktop procedures for district fiscal operations review.
Yep, it's been reviewed.
Yeah, I went over it also when I was able to stay awake. Okay, let it be noted that the desktop procedures for district fiscal operations has been reviewed. And down to that.
Hey, Otis, may I ask another question?
Sure.
The review of the current annual plan of work. We can check a box today. The grant agreement says that is to be done twice during the fiscal year by the district board. I do not know offhand if the annual plan of work for FY21 has been reviewed other than this one time today. It was late being crafted. I think it wasn't crafted maybe until October.
Yes.
Oh, you got there? Okay. You
Yes,
did
it was reviewed on
Okay.
January
Super.
19th.
Okay, okay. I just didn't have that jotted down on my copy. I thank you. Super. Super. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Good
I
catch.
do too.
Yep. Good to go.
Okay, we're down to the last item, June meeting in person. Are we ready to resume in-person meetings with the board, as far as the board is concerned?
As much as I love having these meetings from my basement and other locations, I would really like to see everyone in person if that's a possibility.
I'm in 100% agreement with that statement.
I'd like to comment. I think that given the status of things, that we are essentially in good stead to go to in-person meetings. I will, however, recommend, because there's a chance that not everyone is vaccinated, and we can't necessarily, I don't know if we can legally ask everyone that. And maybe we don't even want to. The point being, to still remain on the safe side, because even being vaccinated, we're not, unless we want to do it outside, standing outside where there's possibility of rain, etc. I would just suggest, because I too I very much like seeing facial expressions, around the room and stuff, and just the conversation is much easier, I think, in person. I would like to suggest that we maybe try to get the Smith West room and the extension of it. I don't know what that's called, but where it's open up the whole way, to where if we wanted to, even we could prop open the doors. I'm a big component of airflow, knowing that most buildings are not adequately done for good airflow. I'm still, this is not over and done with as far as COVID. So let's still be cautious. But I love the idea of in person. So if we can maybe get that big room reserved and be able to spread out, so that those that want to or need to still wear a mask, that's fine and good. And those of us that are, feel good about not wearing a mask because we've been vaccinated, I think that would be a real good idea. That's it.
And Rhonda did check with the government center yesterday. Their policy is still masks are required in the building. So if that may change by June, but we did just check yesterday, and masks are still required in the government center meeting rooms and hallway and etc.
What time did you check? So I got a letter from Tim Fitzgerald said that they weren't required.
I checked yesterday after lunch. So the HR was supposed to let me know as soon as she knew. So maybe I've received an email during this meeting and I haven't checked it yet.
Okay, because the letter came out at 3:57 yesterday.
Okay.
And the way I'm reading it, it said the county will reduce restrictions as noted in the governor's announcement. Fully vaccinated staff are no longer required to wear a mask. Fully vaccinated citizens will not be required to wear a mask. Current social distancing requirements will remain in place until additional announcement.
Great. Thanks for the update. And as soon as I get that, I'll pass it along as well.
So that sounds good. So to me, it sounds like we could do it in person. We'll just be very spread out. And those that need to or wish to wear masks can, and those that, are appropriately vaccinated, et cetera, are, good to go without. So.
Well, I think it's important too, to put an emphasis on, having a quorum for the June meeting because of the end of the year. So, let's, work on that aspect too, make sure as many as can be at the in-person meeting. And I too would really like to see, Buzz's face along with, Doug's and Christian and some of the other guys and gals I just haven't seen. It'd be real nice to know who we're working with.
I will say, if you know you cannot attend the June board meeting, it might be nice to let Rhonda know. So us as staff, we are gonna be hunting for a quorum. We know ahead of time.
Yeah, and y'all let Rick know and I'll hunt them. The ones that say they can't come. Mr. Chair, I would like, permission to, send a thank you from the district to Charlie, for the efforts to increase the scholarship money that went to our participant. It is from a family, what do I want to say? A family chest. And so, I appreciate him checking out and, increasing the scholarship amount, actually doubled it. So if y'all don't have any problems, I'm going to send a thank you from the district to him for that.
Absolutely.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Hey, one other note before adjourn the meeting. Some of you, well, I know Rick, and maybe only Rick, I ran into Walt Flora last Friday at lunch, and they were his buddies were celebrating his 92nd birthday.
So we can send a happy birthday card.
I think we ought to.
Yeah, I do too.
Rachel, could you, or Rhonda, could you take care of that? If you need his address, I think I can get it for you. For those of you who don't know Walt Flora, Walt was a longtime director of Headwaters.
That sounds
Okay.
like a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, we will check to make sure that the address, if we have one on file, is current. Otis and Rhonda or I will let you know.
Last on King Circle or something like that in Waynesboro. Anyway, if you need some help on that, let me know.
This is Buzz. I've actually got a question about our underground classroom. If it's utilized if it doesn't have to move and it's utilized during normal working hours, what's the cost for an organization to use that per hour?
If it's utilizing in our district for our school districts, there's no cost. If we need to go somewhere for a nonprofit or out of district fair festival, the base price is $260
So
plus mileage.
if it was used, like if it didn't have to move, and the YMCA summer youth group came over to it, would it be 260?
That's a good question. It's never been asked just to sit put.
I mean, because it's just a general question right now. Because I'm looking at doing some volunteer work with their youth program over the summer, and they have transportation, so it wouldn't have to move anywhere, and the kids would likely show up during normal working hours. So no transportation requirement, and it would just be the personnel to actually run it.
And being that that's the Stanton YMCA, I'm assuming, I would say that's in our district and there would be no charge, but others can chime in if we think there would be.
I think it's education. I don't think we need to charge.
All right, thank you. I'll follow up with them, and I'll definitely be in touch in the near future on that. And I just have one other question for Bobby. Are you still on?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, if I give you my phone number, could you give me a call? I've got some general questions
Yeah,
for you.
sure.
It's 540-797-3069.
Okay. Call you after the meeting.
And yeah, all right, I appreciate it.
Sure.
And Rachel, do you have Mary Jance's contact info?
I don't have it right hand, but I can either text or email
That'll
it to
work.
you.
Either way.
Hey, I have it right here, Buzz, if you need it.
Yeah, that'll work.
All right, let me get it up. It's all right, it's 540-266-2113.
All right, I appreciate it.
Yep,
Thanks, Michael.
no problem.
Thanks, y'all.
Hey,
That's all I got. I'll shut up now.
oh, you're good. Anything else that we need to discuss before we sign off?
Hey, Rick, thanks for picking up the thank you note for Charlie's family.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, with that, I declare the meeting adjourned. Thank you, folks.
All right. Thank you, Otis.
Thanks, everyone.